Welcome to Oddball. I'm Charlotte Wilder here at the Mean Al Hassan as always. And today we are joined by Rachel Nichols, one of the most plugged in people in the NBA world, a legendary voice in this league, host of Bully Ball and Headliners. What?
And the reason I got on TV, basically.
Most importantly.
I'm sorry, America.
Yeah, Rachel, this is all your fault.
I was going to
just
say,
so
I
you
feel
know.
like I'm going to be apologizing for this for the rest of my life.
Look at me now. Look at me now.
Look at you now, baby.
Oh, God. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Summer League is always, well, this is my second Summer League, so I can say now it is always a real pleasure just to catch up with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we have to start with some Bronny talk.
Oh, check it off. We got it.
Oh, yeah.
We're contractually obligated.
I mean, you are at Summer League, so.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, also just in the contract for the show, it's like there's the
Right.
LeBron clause, there's a Caitlin Clark clause, and
Clearly.
under the LeBron clause is like
Bronny, subject,
yeah.
subhead Bronny.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that makes total sense.
You were at the game
I
last
was.
night. We saw you there.
Yes.
The Lakers played the Celtics, and Bronny had another tough outing. He went 1 for 5 for shooting, airballed a couple threes. He's now 0 for 15 from 3 in Summer League. Rachel, you go way back with Bronny, and
Since he was a baby.
well, we have your tweet.
Can you go back with someone who's a baby? He goes back with me. I don't go back with, or wait, one of us goes back with the other doesn't. I don't know, but yes.
You definitely go back with Bronny if you knew him as a baby.
That's a crazy tweet. This is definitely the first NBA draftee that I met as a baby.
Right, I mean,
When did you meet? Do you remember meeting Bronny as a baby?
I mean, whenever they first, that picture of him as a toddler, courtside is what happened. I mean, I don't think he wasn't born and they didn't take him directly from the hospital courtside, so it wasn't that early.
Sort
but,
of surprising, actually.
Certainly once he was, by a toddler at the latest, possibly even, I don't know what that qualifies as, slightly smaller, but yeah, he was around. So, and Bryce was around and all of that. So yeah, I remember so clearly. And then now to have him walking around in front of me last night in the NBA is bonkers, man.
Yeah. What?
No, I was just thinking, I learned today, right before we went on air, that Jason Tatum's dad and I are the same. He's like a month older than I am. Okay. And that kind of blew my mind. I'm like, what? Am I old enough to be Jason Tatum's dad?
The answer is clearly yes.
Yes, clearly, yes. So it's the same thing. But I don't have that same feeling when I think about Bronny. Like, Bronny's dad is younger than I am. But it doesn't even, I was like, yeah, of course, whatever. It's
You're
LeBron.
very old. It's hard to keep track of how old you are.
Yeah. I get confused easily.
Rachel, I tried to tell him, so I'm so glad. So glad you're here.
It's really nice of Charlotte to take her grandfather out for radio. Here.
Yeah, I give him ice chips sometimes. I don't even know if that's
ice chips would be
old
great
people
right
thing.
now.
I know, I'm sweating. So, Rachel, I would just love to talk to you about Bronny's outing here, and is there a way that he can turn this around still, or is this sort of what his Summer League is going to be?
Yeah, look, I just think overstating the importance of Summer League because we're in a 24-hour news cycle, because we all have to talk about something, because this is not a star-studded draft, so there's not like there's 6 other players to talk about. We're all spending a lot of time talking about this. But it's not the important thing. Summer League stats really don't end up meaning much in the history of someone's career. Mm-hmm. We've had players who are MVPs of Summer League and then don't go on to do that much in the NBA. We have MVPs of Summer League who are great in the NBA. It's just not an indicator. We've got guys who have terrible Summer Leagues and then go on to have really solid and good NBA careers. So I'm not saying that Bronny's going to fit into any of those categories. I'm just saying you can't really use Summer League to judge it. Summer League to me has always been about get used to the flow of the game, get used to these new coaches, get used to these new players next to you, that sort of thing. What is it like to be under all this pressure, which for him, I think, is actually a really important lesson of these couple weeks, because there have been media throngs and people yelling at him and yelling for him wherever he goes. He played that first game in Sacramento, and every time he was in, people were like, give him the ball, give him the ball. And every time he touched the ball, there were cheers, but then he didn't get the shot. That's a lot to play under, and that is going to be his NBA career. So just even learning to adjust and get used to that in his ear while he's here, I think those are the important parts of Summer League. Now, how he's going to do as an NBA player, we can have that discussion, but I'm just not sure that has to do much with these couple weeks.
Do you feel like it's not going to wear off at any point? Once we get into the regular season, I feel like, after a month, people...
I think it may wear off at home to some degree, but I think on the road, it's going to be sort of a traveling road show. Right. We've seen that with past teams for different reasons, and people fill the building looking for him. And for a lot of Lakers fans, and there's a huge national following, this will be their only chance to see Bronny, the guy that they have now been obsessively following for years. So there you go.
And if he does spend time in the G League, those games, I mean, those G League games we'll never have seen so many people.
Yes, exactly.
South Bay, 100%. Here I come.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
A post from Social got attention last night because Jaylen Brown was sitting courtside. And he appeared to say the quiet part out loud. He said, "I don't think Bronny is a pro," is what lip reading experts.
I was going to say, man, people are good lip readers. Did you get that without someone telling you ahead of time?
No, I saw his lips and it looked like he said, "I don't think brownies are a go."
I mean,
and because
fair.
He's very health conscious. He doesn't put anything in the body. So
yeah, is he vegan because of those brownies? I mean, I just assume it feels like he might be. But he did address the backlash. He said, "It's a flex to have your son alongside you in the NBA. It reflects greatness and longevity!" ! Bronny has all the tools around him to be successful. I look forward to watching his growth. And guys, I can't overstate the importance of the exclamation point here. When you that's how you know you're backtracking. That's why I think he actually did say it, because he said exclamation point. I'm like, someone's damage control.
I look forward to watching his growth. It sounds like a letter from HR. Or for like you apply for a job and like, sorry, we don't have any positions right now, but I look forward to your growth. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, who knows what he actually said or what he thinks, and it's all like, blown up. What someone says in casual conversation, who knows?
Right.
But yeah, look, this is what Bronny's going to deal with, and this is the spotlight he's officially put himself into, and his parents have put him into, and it's just part of the deal. And and I don't know, we've talked about this off the air. Like, the number 55 pick to me is not some crazy valuable resource. Like, oh my God, they took a guy who might not make the pros, and it might be because of his dad. Who cares?
Right.
like. Number 55 pick last year played 4 total minutes in the NBA. Not 4 minutes a game, 4 total minutes from the beginning to the end. The guy before him, who was picked number 55, spent the entire regular season in the G League. Not one NBA regular season minute. So, like, I just think we have to be a little bit less precious about, like, oh my God, is he going to be an amazing NBA player? He's picked number 55.
What face are you making?
Rachel over here giving context and nuance and discussion.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I always say? Second round draft picks are like singles at a strip club. People just throw them around. They see what works, what doesn't work. Let's not pretend that this is something like, oh my God, I can't believe they spent it on him. And by the way, let's not pretend he's the only kid of an NBA player in the NBA. Well, right. Who probably got some help by the fact that, I'm looking at him in scouting because his last name is Pippen. I'm looking at him, and by the way, I'm not picking on Scottie Pippen Jr., but I'm just saying that whoever it is, they have gotten an extra look, I know your dad, like, come, scouting guy who comes, whatever, scouting guy, scout who comes.
I like scouting guy.
Scouting guy, popsicle guy, whatever. So all of that hand-wringing to me is just such a false flag, and it's sort of, let's all have something to talk about in the summer. If you want to have an actual conversation about what his potential is in the NBA, that's totally fair. And the truth is, we don't know yet, right? Yeah. He's got a good, decent build. He's obviously short, but there's guys his age, short, by the way. He's like 4'4". He's short for an NBA player, but he's got a good build, and we've seen guys at his build and body type and height succeed. He obviously knows to put defense first. He's a good teammate. Everyone's, from this kid could have been so spoiled and so unpleasant. Totally. And every report, every step of his career from Pee-wees on has been that he is a team player and a good teammate to have around. I just think we have to see. Or he could play in the G League and never play, again, 4 minutes last year for the last year's 55 pick. I don't think that's going to happen with Bronny for other reasons. Right. But I'm just saying it's not like they're losing some important other cog in their team by picking him. Yeah,
you need to let me know who we've wronged in giving him this opportunity. I don't want to talk about any of this. I want to talk about Call of Duty, because Bronny won the Call of Duty championship this year. So I'm like, do it every year. Shout out to the Call of Duty folks. We were there. Our cameras were rolling. And Rachel, it was the greatest clutch performance I've ever seen in my life, because Grant Williams was there. He was there for 2 days, making sure that he was number 1 on the leaderboard. Okay. He hits 83, and at the 8 p.m. cutoff time, 7:59 and 38 seconds. Right. Bronny hits the 84th kill.
No.
I swear to God. It was amazing. It was electric atmosphere in there. Everybody went nuts.
That's so fun.
We'll have more about our time at the Call of Duty suite because we say a lot of cool things. We talked to our friend Stephanie Snowden, who's part of the team over there.
Elite Stephanie Snowden.
Yes. Absolutely. Really quick, not to end the segment on a downer, but the news, of course, coming out today that Joe Bryant, the father of Kobe Bryant, passed away at the age of 69. Joe, of course, was an NBA player, a tremendous scorer. When I talked to the people that played against him in that era, 8 seasons with the Philadelphia 76ers and with the Clippers. So we remember Joe, and, I say this all the time, Rachel, we have a very young sport.
Yeah.
Many of the people who are responsible for different eras are still around with us. And so every time one of these people passes away, it reminds me we're going to get to a place where it's a lot more guys who are not with us than there are with us.
Yeah. Okay, Rachel, we need your insight on a story picking up steam today, which is that the Golden State Warriors are trying to trade for Lauri Markkanen, reportedly. The news is that they want Brandon Podziemski and a lot of picks, and the Warriors are basically saying, well, we're not going to give you both. Where do you see this going?
Yeah, I mean, the reporting has been that the Podziemski and the picks are sort of the centerpiece. They've asked for Kuminga in there. There's been all kinds of formats of this, and every discussion has sort of ended with the Warriors being like, okay, that's too much. And Utah's being like, well, we could just keep him, right? So part of the thing the Warriors need to figure out is how do you maximize the last couple of years of Steph Curry, because you're never getting him again.
Right.
Yeah. And this is my thing about the end of LeBron's time in Cleveland and Los Angeles, by the way. You are never getting a player of that caliber again. In my mind, Steph Curry is a top 10 player. He is revolutionary to the game of basketball. The Warriors in their franchise future may have another top 10 caliber player, but they may not, by the way.
Right.
Because there's plenty of franchises that have never had one.
Right.
And then even if they do, it's not going to be the same kind of guy who can keep his shooting and his skill till later in his career.
Right.
His career is going to extend because of the type of player he is. So not only do you have this like incredible bonkers level asset, but it's going to be a longer asset. Mm-hmm. And to me, when you have that, you have to recognize it could be decades before you're in this position again. So you spend the money, you spend the picks, you do all the things you need to do to try to make that team competitive. The problem the Warriors have is Podziemski is part of what would make the team competitive for Steph Curry. And I don't know if you can give that asset up even for Lauri Markkanen, because the depth behind them wouldn't be what you need. Would you do that?
The thing that I keep going back and forth with is, does Lauri Markkanen make them better? Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
Does Lauri Markkanen make them significantly better, OKC better, Denver better, Minnesota better? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, unless he's got another leap in him. He's already had a massive leap when he got to Utah.
Right.
We're saying, okay, and then now he's going to leap again. And so that's
the Warriors do make things easy for people on the court.
It turns out playing with the best shooter of all time does open things up a little bit.
Yes, who would have thought? I don't know.
But it's one of those things where I look at what they have accomplished thus far, and a lot of people are upset that Klay's gone and panicking. They added 3 really good players, and that's been the story of the Warriors that throughout this entire era is that, yes, their stars are incredible. Steph Curry was incredible. Draymond Green was incredible. Kevin Durant was incredible. Mm-hmm. But also, their role players were all these super high IQ vets who knew how to play. And so that's what they did. They went back to their roots. They said, we're going to stop playing young guys that are trying to learn their way. We're going to stop trying to get these diamonds in the rough. We're going to get guys who know how to play right now. That's kind of what they've been needing the last couple of years. Now, the problem is Brandon Podziemski, as you said, is, as a young guy, is one of the guys that actually came in and knew what to do and knew how to play. But the reality is, with or without him, I still don't know if this is a championship contending team. But you still owe it to Steph to do everything. I was going
to say, I think you got to try. Yep. You never know how things are going to break. I don't think that anyone thought Dallas, certainly going into the year, and even, frankly, after the trade deadline, this is the team that's going to be in the NBA Finals. Right. Things fall for you sometimes.
I'm just going to say Brandon Podziemski sounds way more like a Warriors name than a Jazz name. Yeah. And Lauri, it just seems like they're in the right place. I don't know if anything moves just because of the vibes.
I would like to see Lauri Markkanen on that team. I think that it would be a lot of fun.
It would be cool. And, Danny Ainge, he's not going to get anything less than what he wants.
I know. Right? I mean, there's a lot of deals Danny Ainge doesn't make. For all the trades he's famous for making, there are a high stack of ones he doesn't make that people think he should have. So,
really quick on this one, Russell Westbrook also is on the block. He opted in his contract, but this is all under the understanding that he's going to get traded somewhere. There was a little bit of talk he might get traded to the Nuggets. that has now turned into, no, he's going to get traded to Detroit or Utah or somewhere else, then get bought out, then join the Nuggets. We know the Nuggets lost KCP.
Yeah.
What does a Russell Westbrook addition do for them?
Look, I have never won an NBA title, so I'm not going to sit here and criticize a team that has. I can say that as an outsider to that front office, I don't understand some of the moves they've made in the wake of winning a title. Because, again, it's sort of like what I was just saying. You have a transcendent player. Now, he's not at the end of his career like Steph or LeBron, but you are not going to have a Nikola Jokic in his prime on your team forever.
Right.
And especially right after you win a title and know that it works. Here, there's actual evidence. Here, him and Jamal Murray, this works. To start letting important pieces of that team fall away as soon as within a month after they won, it doesn't make sense to me. What Boston has done this summer so far, we just said, great, we are bringing everyone back. We are doubling down. We are spending the money. We are going into the second apron, the 8th apron. I have so many aprons from this summer. I don't even know. I can cook in any situation.
Yeah, they actually got chef's hats.
Exactly. Exactly. But to me, that's what you do. And again, look, it's easy for me to sit here and say here, I don't have hundreds of millions of billions of dollars. I don't know if you knew that about me.
I gathered.
But I just think that we have been around the league long enough to know that these opportunities just don't come around very often. The team that I grew up rooting for, that franchise has not been to a conference finals in I think it's like 40-something years.
Yeah.
I don't mean like an NBA finals. I don't mean a championship. I mean a conference finals.
Yeah.
That is how hard it is to get to these elite levels. And franchises like the Warriors, frankly, or the Nuggets that have had some lows, they want to remember that.
They should be more cognizant, more aware of that feeling. Having said that, I'm going to go counterpoint for you for the Nuggets. When you talk about losing Bruce Brown, their hands are tied, right? They could not offer him the money that he was going to get.
Right.
Matter of fact, I interviewed Bruce Brown on the floor right after they clinched.
Yeah.
And the first thing Eddie Johnson, who's with me, says to him, he says, that's a hell of a lottery ticket you just punched. And he said, hell yeah. And it's like we all knew right then and there.
Absolutely.
As he's celebrating, I'm not coming back. I'm going to get paid lots of money somewhere else. Same thing with KCP. The money was there. He chose to go because of what opportunity, because, what is an extra ring for a guy like KCP versus the opportunity to say, I get to be a more integral part of the offense as opposed to just stand in the corner and wait to get passes.
Did you ever think that sentence would come out of your mouth?
What?
What's an extra ring for KCP?
but
he's got so many. It's like Robert Horry, part 2.
Rachel, I'm going to tell you right now, I got a theory that for star players, the ring count matters incredibly. For Giannis, he's got 1, he needs 2. He gets 2, he needs 3, et cetera, et cetera. The reason I said Giannis is because I used to bring them as an example. Brook Lopez can never win another championship. He is golden. He is NBA champion Brook Lopez. KCP has 2 rings in 2 different cities. One of them is LA. There's no material addition to his career, his resume, his life, his status as an NBA player that he's going to get with the next ring. It'd be nice.
Well, look, I mean, we saw that this at the trade deadline this winter. Charlotte, you remember when Kyle Kuzma was rumored to be going to Dallas?
I sure do.
And he was like, no thank you, about playing with Luka and leaving the Wizards. And everyone was like, Kyle? And his approach, as I understand it, was I've won a title. I've been the number 3 guy before on a team. To go be the number 3 guy again and win another title that way is less important to me than he's the unquestioned alpha on the team he's on. He gets all the minutes. He gets all the money. He's got a lovely home there.
We've seen it happen before. Trevor Ariza wins a ring. Everyone's like, oh, this is amazing. This young guy, you fit perfectly in the triangle with Kobe Bryant. He takes the same amount of money that they paid Ron Artest to come to L.A. to go play for the Houston Rockets. Why? Because I think I can be an all-star. Now, he didn't end up being one, but I want to try, And for KCP, Trevor Ariza was a young man when he did that. Kyle Kuzma was a young man, right? KCP is like, this is going to be the last big deal I sign.
I mean, he's not as old as you.
No,
that's true. I do think, what we're talking about in terms of what different players need and what they value and where they see their legacy mattering to them in terms of money, in terms of rings, in terms of what role do they want. I think that plays so much more into this entire world than people realize. I hate to wrap this up because it's such a great conversation, but I do want to say to end things, I once called KCP, CPK, like California Pizza Kitchen. Contavious, I'm so sorry. Welcome back to Oddball. Charlotte Wilder, Amin Al-Hassan, Juju, doing the robot. It's sort of crazy, though, that I flew from New York to Vegas, and now I'm going to bring up New York again, because we have not talked about the fact that Jalen Brunson signed a 4-year, $156.5 million extension. He was eligible, though, guys, for $113 million more if he re-signed next year. This now allows the Knicks to have more flexibility with their roster, which is something we've talked about. Have they backed themselves into a corner? Not anymore with Brunson. And Josh Hart said, build him a statue. A lot of New Yorkers feel that way. I know that I am married to one who's very excited about this. There have been a lot of King of New York chants in my household. Would your friends pass up $113 million to hang out with you guys? Juju? They probably Juju.
My friends have they didn't pass up on like sandwiches to hang out with me. Nobody wants to hang with me anymore. I'm washed.
Yeah.
$113 million. To put it in perspective, that's like a whole ass NBA contract in and of itself, right? When you talk about, if I told you right now, Austin Reeves signed for 113 over 5 years, you'd be like, well, that's really good for Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Right? Or 113 over 4 years. Jalen Brunson just took 113, like, yeah, I don't need that. And it is, it's objectively insane, Charlotte.
Right. So this is what I want to talk to you about, Amin. Juju, I think you'll agree with me. So not with me, with what I'm about to ask Amin. I think that there is a world in which for Jalen Brunson, he is someone who could say, look, $113 million is worth nothing to me if I don't win a championship. Like he seems like such a, like dogged, he's like winning is his whole, like would be his whole personality if the Knicks ever won. So that to him is like the thing that he needs more than anything. I mean, I think you will probably have a slightly more cynical view of this.
Yeah, why does he have to make that decision right now? He could have just played the year, and then when we get to next summer, you tell me, hey, this is what we're getting. Remember at the beginning of this summer, everyone was like, LeBron is going to take less so they can get a DeMar DeRozan or a Klay Thompson or a Jonas Valanciunas. Well, DeMar DeRozan went to the Kings.
Yep.
Klay Thompson went to the Mavs. Yep. And Valanciunas went for pennies on the dollar to Washington. So if I'm LeBron and if I had the first moment available just taking less money to have the ability to get those guys and then we didn't get them, I'd be like, why did I just give up all that money?
Right.
For what? For you to not do your job well? So there was no time crunch. He could have just waited, seen what's happening next summer, and then like adjusted or whatever. I've seen a lot of people talk about, this way, when he gets to the end of his deal, he could opt out. It'll be a 10-year vet, and he'll be eligible for the 35% of the cap max, the highest max possible. Mm-hmm. I said, no, it's not because of this deal, because he could have waited and then next summer signed a deal that was 1 year shorter, and he would have had the same thing. To me, there is no logical reason to do this now. And the thing that really drives me crazy is for most players, or not all players, but most players, if I was under the belief that, hey, man, I'm going to take less money so that my team can do things, the first person who would stop me from doing that and say, no, you can't do that. This because of this, that, and the other. You're like, you only have a limited amount of time to make as much money, whatever. The first person who would stop me would be who? It would be my agent.
Right.
But in this case, Jalen Brunson's agent, Sam Rose, is the son of Knicks president Leon Rose.
Right.
And so you can't.
So the conflict of interest there.
The massive conflict of interest. And we've talked about this before. Obviously, Jalen's dad, Rick Brunson's a coach on staff and was, before Jalen got there. We've always talked about the conflict of interest helping Jalen, basically. Right. Like, they hooked it up because his dad already there and his agent is the son of the whatever. But in this case, I think it's the opposite. It's like you got talked into doing something, brother, that wasn't really in your best interest.
Yeah. Juju, do you see any world in which you would ever do something like that? Because I'm like, 113 million that's wild amounts of money.
I'll fight you.
I think it was that world where Spider-Man went and it was all liquid, or it was like sausage finger world. Yep. I think that world, I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, no one was happier about this, probably. Well, I don't know. Coach Tibbs, he was probably happy about it. But apparently that Brunson, he tweeted this. He said, just butt dialed Tibbs while having a conversation with the fellas. Yeah, it's over, y'all. It's been real. So, A, first of all, did this happen, or are the Knicks just continuing to try to be cute? And B, if it did happen, what were they talking about?
It 100% happened. I believe that's just like a wild tweet to come up with out of nowhere. But I'm gonna tell you exactly what the conversation was. You know, I actually had someone who was there on the scene.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
And the conversation
was it Ryan Arcidiacono?
I'm not gonna name names. I cannot reveal my sources.
Sorry. Okay.
It wasn't Ryan Arcidiacono. He's been excommunicated.
Oh right. Sorry.
Yeah. But, the conversation was about, guys, like, do you warm your milk before you go to bed, or do you take it cold? Because sometimes I'm thirsty. I'd like a cold brew. And they just had a very robust conversation about the temperature of milk they have before they go to bed.
See, that's interesting because I heard it was actually about weighted blankets. I heard it was like, and also like a weighted eye mask. Juju, have you ever used that? I feel like you might be. Yeah. So like, do you need the weighted eye? Maybe the milk is part of it. That just seems like kind of wild speculation on your part. I mean, so. I'm
going to tell y'all. On this topic, I bought this thing from Amazon. It is like a neoprene sleeve.
Oh, do you put it in the fridge?
Put it in the freezer. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man. You laugh, it looks stupid when you put it on, but if you got bags in your eyes, if you suffer from migraines or whatever, you put that thing on for like 5-10 minutes, you come out, it's like nothing ever happened, man.
I need one. Juju, have you tried that?
Absolutely. I do it every single night.
I'm scared of it for some reason. I feel like it's gonna give me a brain freeze.
It does. Like if you leave it on for too long, yeah.
I would. Do you know me? I would 1,000% leave it on for too long. Okay, this is a theory that was floated to us by one of our dear producers, and I'm throwing him under the bus here because I actually don't remember if I have ever had these. This is Los Tacos in New York. 2 days before his extension, Jalen Brunson went to what our producers are calling the best taco spot in New York and quite possibly the universe. And Brunson said, bury me at Los Tacos. Lord have mercy. And I thought this was initially, I was like, is he in Vegas? Because there's also Los Tacos #1 in Vegas. Yeah, I tried to go there, but then I got really hot and thought I was going to have a panic attack. It's a whole whatever. So did Jalen Brunson turn down $113 million to eat the best tacos and hang out with his buddies? Was the question posed to me. And I actually think the answer is yes. Like, I think he loves his life in New York. He's got his little, I think he's probably up in Westchester. I know that you say a lot of them live in New York now, but Jalen Brunson definitely lives in the suburbs.
Yeah, because it's better value, right?
Yes. That's why he was like, I have this lovely condo. I don't need $113 million. But anyway, let's move on to...
Well, wait, I want to respond to that.
Oh.
He absolutely did. And it is absolutely because apparently he got like food poisoning or something. Because, hey, man, if I eat tacos and it makes me take $100 million less, I don't want them tacos. And by the way, I'm going to argue this right now. Yo, I live in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
I will never go to New York and get tacos. Los Tacos, no disrespect to you. I made a joke about the food poisoning. I'm sure it's amazing. I will never visit you because I live in Phoenix, Arizona. You can't tell me they got better tacos in New York than Phoenix, Arizona. Get out of here. But if y'all want to send me some free tacos,
look, this guy, he can be bought.
I can easily
send him $113 million worth of tacos, and he's your spokesman.
All yours.
Okay, let's move on to Team USA. Because the whole situation with Kevin Durant and the calf strain and Steve Kerr saying that he is unbothered. Kawhi has already been replaced by Derek White. And we actually haven't gotten to talk about Jaylen Brown not being a part of this team.
Well, we did.
I know, but you guys talked about it. Yes, we did,
yeah.
And so when Steve Kerr says he is unbothered or unconcerned, do you believe him? Because I don't know fully that I believe him.
I don't believe him at all. I think that they're saying whatever they got to say in this run right now because when you got these USA teams, there's a potential for big fires. So I think they're saying whatever they need to say to keep the fires quelled at this moment.
Yep. Okay. That's probably right. What if Katie can't play then?
I mean, like, first of all, like Juju said, you think Steve Kerr is going to be like, hey, man, hey, what are you about? I'm extremely bothered. What are we going to do? What are we going to do now?
That's true. That's fair.
50 back around. So, of course, he's going to say, like, the thing that just keeps everything quiet or whatever. But the reality is, they made a decision when they replaced Kawhi with Derek White and not Jalen Brown, saying we got enough alphas. We need guys that come in and fill in their role, fit in the role, and can play the role because that's what they do on a regular basis.
Right.
That's like Grant Hill literally said Derek White doesn't have to try to be someone else. He can just be the same Derek White he is for the Boston Celtics.
Right.
That's assuming that like everybody else is great, but at this point, if you lose Kevin Durant. I wish I had Jaylen Brown now because I need someone who can also perform that role.
Right. Also, something about this, and I know you guys have talked about this, but something that I'm still a little stuck on is the idea that I know Kawhi is sort of lower key. I don't know that he's not an alpha guy. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
So when you say we're not going to replace Kawhi with Jaylen Brown, we're going to bring in a role player. It's like, was Kawhi a role player?
Right. Yeah, that was my first thing that I thought about, Ju.
Them plats that he got in his head ain't role playing plats right now. So I feel like he had reached a heel turn.
Also, Juju, are you worried at all about the Celtics locker room? I haven't gotten to ask you about this.
1,000%.
I am so worried about it.
It is a rap in my head, but we are the champions, so I'm not letting that get the best of me. You're not going to ruin my summer, Jaylen. Not this summer.
Jaylen,
is that Jaylen's fault?
He's like, that he'll have a little thing with Derek White. He'll be like, oh, Derek, how is Paris?
Right.
You have a good time?
I'm going to tell you what. If I'm Jaylen Brown, I'm not asking Derek. I'll be like, Derek, yo, that's great. I'm asking Jason. Hey, Jason, long time no speak.
Right.
You got something to say?
Yeah, where have you been? All right, well, we are at Summer League, so I guess we should talk about Summer League. And despite what you may have heard, there actually are other players in Summer League besides Bronny James.
Really?
Yeah. Zach Edey. He's,
goat.
Yeah, really, you're into it.
I love it. I'm 100% bought in on Zach Edey. I think he's the thing that the grindhouse will need to reinstate that just whatever that was that Randolph was doing.
I love it.
Grit and grind. That thing is what it was called. Grit and grind.
John Wick, I see you.
Reed Shepard also.
Let me tell you something. Reed Shepard.
He's a Reed deal.
Look.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Keep
talking.
Never
mind. Keep talking.
No, I know, but real talk. Like he's been very impressive. Reed.
No, I don't know. Okay, keep talking. Keep talking. The whole point is that when I screw up, you keep talking.
The brain fog is still active with
guys.
Charlotte Wilder.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what was really interesting though. That guys like Jaime Jaquez and Brandon Miller, two guys who had great rookie years.
Yeah.
They don't have to play at Summer League.
I know.
Right?
I was surprised they were here.
Right, bro.
I'm surprised, but it's also a really cool thing because you know what it means? It means that these guys have not taken their success to the head, and they're still knowing that they need to learn. And the cool thing about Summer League a lot of times is you also get to play a role that maybe on your team you don't get to play every day. So yeah. I'll never forget Draymond Green as a second-year player playing at Summer League. And I was sitting next to my buddy Ethan Strauss, and Ethan was like, why is he shooting so many threes? He can't shoot. And I was like, well, I mean, like, one day he might want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And, like, within a couple of years, obviously, the Warriors who won that Summer League championship, they win the real NBA championship. And, look, ain't nobody saying that Draymond Green turned into Steph Curry.
Right.
But a big feature in those first few years was him being able to pick and pop or whatever. And even the ability for him to create, to be like the point forward.
Yeah.
Guys don't remember this. Under Coach Mark Jackson, he was more like just a blue-collar guy, the defense, the rebound, and whatever.
Yeah.
And when Steve Kerr got him, he said, we're going to let you do some stuff.
Yeah.
And that started under Mark Jackson at Summer League. So these things all pay dividends.
Yeah, it's so cool to see because I think people often just assume like, oh, well, if you practice it, you can do it in a game. And it's like the game experience is so radically different. Yeah. So if you can have that at Summer League, we're having a radically different experience here at Summer League. Thank you all for watching. I'm not supposed to thank people. What?
Draymond went from Burning Bass to where he is right now. But, yeah, sorry about that.
We'll see you tomorrow.